Shalom. Does God need our gifts? Does God need our gold, our silver, our copper, our wood, our materials? Does God need our charity? Does God need a home? God is infinite. That's what the Torah teaches us. And where could the infinite fit into a home? There's a biblical phrase that the heavens and the heavens of heavens, basically all of existence, cannot contain you. So what kind of home could possibly contain this infinite being? And yet in this week's Torah portion, Parshat Teruma, God says, "V'asu li mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham," and you should make for me a dwelling place, a sanctuary, and I will dwell among you. God is asking us to build him a home, a mishkan. We call it a mishkan, a dwelling place for God. Why? What? And where? But not only that, more than just the request itself, the Torah dedicates a whopping 5 entire portions to the detailed construction of this Mishkan. The gold-plated walls, the precise dimensions, and the exquisite fabrics, all of the details are detailed in these 5 whole parshas. And this is staggering because the Torah is so usually incredibly concise when it discusses the mitzvos, even the important mitzvos that define Jewish life, like our daily tefillin, the black leather boxes and straps that we wear every day, shechita, the kosher slaughtering of an animal, or bris milah, circumcision, to name a few. Regarding shechita, slaughtering, the Torah says, "Slaughter the meat as I have commanded you." Nowhere in the Torah does it say anything else. It doesn't explain how, which where to cut, which parts, what knife to use. This is all left for the oral tradition. The Torah is very concise. Regarding tefillin, we put on our daily tefillin. The Torah says, "Bind these words upon your arm and your head." Which words? Which arm? Which head? We can figure that one out, right? What should the boxes look like? What should they be made of? Nothing. No details. Regarding the bris milah, circumcision, the Torah says, "Circumcise your baby on the 8th day." It doesn't even say where. But when it comes to God's home, I know there's wind blowing here, so I'm going to try to cover the mic here. When it comes to God's home, he gives us these graphic details of all the intricate, the measurements and the tools and the materials. Why does he spend so much holy real estate on this home of his? And finally, if he wanted a home, couldn't he make a home for himself? What does he need us? God created the whole world, and closer to us, he split the sea. He gave us the manna from the heaven. What does he need us to build a home, first of all? And why all the details? Remember my daughter at age 5, she was already building Lego mishkans, like temples. The details, the instructions were so detailed that even a 5-year-old could build it, kind of, with Lego. And so why does he need us to do it? And of course, the big question is, God owns everything and creates everything. Li hakesef v'li hazahav nu'um Hashem. Whenever God says, the gold and silver and everything else is mine, when we need something, small or large, whether it's personal, familial, or communal, we ask God for it. And what is God asking us now in this week's Torah portion for these material construction items for this building? It seems unnecessary, or maybe even indulgent a little bit. But if we look into Chassidus that has the answers to all the questions, we see that it's not about what God needs. It's about what God wants us to become. So, the classic understanding of this is that the people need a sacred space, a holy temple, a shul, a synagogue, a beit midrash. It's really for us, it's not for God. But the wording of the Torah doesn't say that. The wording says, V'asu li mikdash, make for me a sanctuary. V'shechanti b'socham, and I will dwell. Make me a house. V'ikhu li truma. In this week's Torah portion it says, bring for me these gifts, these donations. Why? Because God, says Chassidus, God doesn't want to remain an abstract concept in the beautiful heavens, confined to philosophy, prayer, Torah study. God wants to be in our day-to-day life, in our real life, in everything. I want to dwell within them, said God, not just in a temple, but in our homes, in our workplaces, and in our material possessions. And this is the crux of the answer over here. Somebody once asked a Rebbe, where is God? And he answered, wherever you let him in. And that's what the Mishkan over here is teaching us, that God's presence isn't limited to one place. It's up to us to open the door and to invite God into our homes, into our careers, and even into our materials and mundane activities. And the Mishkan is a blueprint. The Mishkan, this house of God that God asks us to build for him in the 6th Torah portion, is a blueprint for our whole lives. God doesn't want to be only in the temple. He wants godliness and holiness to permeate all of our existence. When you look at a synagogue, at a shul, every element screams God. The ark, the bima, the stender or the chazan, the prayer books, the light, the Torah, etc. That all reflects God. But it's not meant to stop at the synagogue door. What if our homes radiated with godliness? What if our workplaces declared without words that a Jew works here? Not just by a mezuzah on the door, which is essential, but by an atmosphere of honesty, integrity, and purpose. Kosher food at the coffee center. Jewish books lining the walls. Jewish art on the walls. Jewish books in the bookshelf. Hasidic nigunim, Jewish music playing in the backgrounds and in the elevators. What if our businesses weren't just about making money, but about sanctifying God's name, being honest in negotiations, treating employees with dignity, ensuring that our work and success reflects the Jewish values, God's values. So God's instruction to build a Mishkan, to build a temple, a tabernacle now, is not about constructing a building. It's about constructing a mindset. And of course, God could have made his own perfect, ready-made Mishkan straight from heaven. It would have fallen down from the sky, like hopefully soon the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple, will. But God didn't want that. He wanted it to be built by human hands, mine and yours, with the materials that we own from our world. We'll take our gold, our silver, our talents, our resources, and our creativity, our energy, and elevate them and bring them to holiness and make them holy. So, where in your life can you make a space for God? Every home, every business, every talent is part of the Mishkan, is part of God's home. The workplace ethics, our home atmosphere, and our hobbies should all reflect God's home. God says, "V'asu li mikdash," make for me a dwelling place. Create a place where God is comfortable. And holiness in the Hasidic world doesn't mean stepping away from the world. It means bringing God into it. Every moment, every action, every talent is part of God's sanctuary. It's part of our building God's sanctuary. So what is your Mishkan? Where is your Mishkan? Mine is right here, running and teaching Torah. It's one of my Mishkans. Bringing God into the mundane, into exercise, which is also a mitzvah, to be healthy. Today is Rosh Chodesh Adar. It's the first day of the month of Adar, of a joyous month. It's a time of joy for all the Jewish people everywhere. When we live with the mindset aligned with what we just spoke about, bringing God into our homes, into our lives, into every fiber of our beings, that is a source of joy, of true joy. Happiness comes from connection, from meaning, from knowing that every moment of ours is part of something bigger, a bigger picture. And finally, I wanted to dedicate today's teaching to the Bibas family. Everyone knows the story, but a friend you can see on Facebook, I'll try to share it in a link here too, Sarah Esther Crisp, found that their name Bibas is found 3 times in this week's Torah portion in a unique way. In Hebrew, the word saviv backwards is Bibas. Exactly. When it talks about constructing the vessels of the Holy Temple, specifically the table, and it talks about lining it with pure gold. God says, line it with pure gold. 3 times the word saviv, which is read left to right as Bibas, is noted there, is mentioned there. Pure gold. They were Gingis, everyone knows they were gold, and God should line this world with pure gold. May their neshamas have an aliyah, be elevated, and may all the hostages be freed, swift and complete, healthy and happy. May all the those who need healing be healed and cured. May all of Israel be protected 100% in every way. And may we all live, enjoy, and celebrate Mashiach now. God bless you.